Welcome back to Beards and Brews. Hey, if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe and follow no matter where you're listening. Not only does it help us out, but you'll know exactly when we have another one brewing. Fellas, the holidays are over, and we can't cross into the new year until we pay the troll toll. This is Troll from 2022.
Ah, the Troll Toll and the Troll Peaks. We got those in the D&D games. They got them troll mountains.
This was my first experience with the Troll Mountains. I really only even knew this existed because a lady from work was telling me about it, and I was like, oh, yeah, that might be something to talk about, and sure is.
Same here. Like, the word of mouth for this movie is pretty far and wide, to be honest. I heard about it way more just from people chatting about it than I ever saw from any kind of advertisement, even from Netflix, because it's a Netflix original. Like, I didn't see any ads for it or anything. They're still trying to fart out a bunch of stuff about Wednesday. I'm just like, oh, what's this troll movie going on about?
I'll tell you what it's going on about. Well, actually, fucking Conor McGregor off Wish, dressed as the Gorton's fisherman. He's going to tell you all about the troll lore.
Oh, yeah, this starts out, the little prologue is like father and daughter, which I guess they'll come back later, but it's just like, believe in your fairy tales. You won't see it until you believe it, when they're doing like a little camping hike thing. It's like, oh, it's going to come back, isn't it?
I thought it was cute. It's just a little moment between like a father and daughter where he's trying to explain some just like mythical story, and he's just like, use your imagination, kid. And she does.
Yeah, you get the little Mount Rushmore of trolls. You got like Troll Washington, Troll Reagan, Troll Lincoln. The little daughter goes, "What's that one on the end, Papa?" He goes, well, that's a fossilized troll butt plug.
Oh, how the mighty have fallen.
Oh, yeah. But, okay, so this movie, filmed in Norwegian. I watched the subbed and dubbed version, which maybe was a mistake, but it was what I had going for me. I understand that you two both watched... What did you all watch?
I watched the native version with subtitles. There was actually a bunch of stuff that was still in English regardless. So it didn't bother me too much until, like, you know, they get into Oslo and it's just all Norwegian or Norse, whatever you want to call it.
I watched the dub version, and for the most part, it's serviceable. There are moments, though, especially like during large chunks of exposition, to where I know that, again, the movie is called Troll. We all know there's a troll, no spoiler in that. They're discussing that this is not a troll, but it is in fact a troll. And just I guess maybe the translation or the loss of meaning via the translation is just so bad that you spend at least 10, 15 minutes of this movie going, why do they still not believe it's a troll when they've seen the goddamn troll?
Yeah, no, for real. Like, a lot of the problem that I have, and like this, all right, this is a fine movie, I guess. But a lot of the problem comes with the disconnect between, all right, you're describing a troll, but it's not a troll. All right, it's this big thing. It come from the mountains. It's 150 feet tall. It has all the criteria that you need for it to be a troll. Yeah, but it's not a troll. That's stupid. Those are mythical.
It might have been like a translation error or something like that, because I didn't really feel it that much. Like, I totally get that the beginning of these types of movies, it's just that mayor from Amity, just like, sharks aren't a problem. We need the fucking cash. Roll it in. Like, you know, they just dismiss it pretty much immediately. That kind of like resolved itself pretty quickly. So like maybe that is like a translation thing.
For me, it seemed more like especially the prime minister. The prime minister's like, yeah, we've got this thing. We don't have any scientific knowledge of this. It's outside our scientific realm. And lady's just like, it's a troll. No, it's you know, we don't know what it is, but it's not a troll. It's a troll.
It's Musta Krakish, the lake troll, as risen by Deathclock.
Oh, nice. Yes. But you know what? The movie does try pretty hard. This is a rare case where, like, a B movie, using its truest form, like, it's not a dumpster fire. Like, everything they try lands. It's not perfect, but it does the job. So what they try to do is just like, oh yeah, we need science stuff. It's like, what do? We're going to reshoot the entire beginning of Jurassic Park.
Yep. Dude.
How many different types of ologists can you name? Let's get one of each.
There's a choice. You go with paleontologist or you go with like trollologist. And like there's already enough bullshit the movie deals with. They're just like, listen, Our hands are full. We're trying to make the best of what we got.
Yes. And I think they do a great job of that. They make this movie very, very approachable in the tropes that they decide to highlight. We get chunks of Jurassic Park. You get chunks of Kong. You get,
Godzilla.
yes, chunks of Godzilla. Like literally,
Yeah.
you're at the Monarch HQ. You get to see scenes from movies that you remember, I guess, just reheated and served to you again in a
Yeah.
troll skin. And it works.
But you know why it works? Or even if you feel lukewarm about it, it works because the pacing is actually stellar. Nothing stagnates. The movie knows you've seen this kind of thing before. They're just like, okay, let's hit the beats. Let's do the best we can. Like, it's all about momentum.
Yes, they don't linger too long, which is an issue with a lot of movies. Because with this, anytime you found yourself going, well, at least to me, anytime I found myself going, wait, what? They were immediately onto something else for you to focus on.
I might be the detractor in this one. I didn't hate this or anything, but there's a lot of things I want to talk about.
Oh no, I totally see the edges of this movie. Like, don't get me wrong. I did like it quite a bit. And this is totally a movie that I would watch again just because it's just fucking breezes by. But no, like, the stitching in the movie is totally visible.
Yeah, like if this was what the Asylum was making, I think they would be a lot more lucrative in their
Oh, yeah.
businesses because
Oh, yeah.
this is clearly a ripoff, but it's a good ripoff.
It's like a ripoff of a bunch of different movies at once. I don't really know what the Asylum is all about, but it's definitely a ripoff of like every movie that we've talked about so far, just in different little pieces. And
So for the Asylum, imagine Transformers
Mhm.
and then Transmorphers. So your grandma
Yeah.
gets confused at the video store and grabs that.
Yeah, they're just all about tricking people. But this movie doesn't have that issue. This movie doesn't try to trick you. There's no wool over the eyes. It's like what you see is what you get, and I think that's why I respect it.
Okay, so let's start out talking about the characters, introduce them a little bit. The main one, I guess, her name is Nora. She's just like
Mhm.
I don't know what else to call her. She's just the main character, I guess. She's a paleontologist. She's out on a dig site, and then elsewhere over in Norway, there's some guys making a tunnel. They're digging a tunnel through a mountain.
And they run into this disturbance, which, according to the dub version, may or may not be a troll. And Norwegian Dern is just out there just like, wow, I found a dinosaur. This is totally something 100% original. Don't worry.
Yeah, that's something.
I do like the found footage of the troll rising up.
Oh, dude, totally. The tracking shots in this movie are so fucking well done. Like, they have no business being that well done. The tracking shots are like when the people are running towards the camera and it kind of looks like it's on the back of a truck and the troll's coming at them and stuff
Yep.
like that. And like the rocks coming down and smashing people, then it, rolls out the footage. I thought that was superb. For a movie this small, I guess in budget and maybe even in execution, I was just like, okay, this is effort that lands. Congrats.
So, more to your point, I came into this being a lover of cheesy movies. I came into this expecting the troll to show up and
Yeah.
look like shit. The troll reveal is fucking sweet. He looks great.
He looks like how am I going to say this?
I had him down as Ringo Starr.
Realistically, this troll to me looks like all of those propaganda cartoons and
Ooh.
everything that you see in like Nazi propaganda from the 40s and 30s.
Oh, okay.
How they
yeah.
were supposed to depict the Jews as like these big-nosed, ugly, like hairy things.
Yeah.
That's what this troll looks like to me. It looks like propaganda.
Fair enough. And towards the beginning, I did kind of think, like, did they just, like, give him a massive dong, too?
Well, his
Yeah,
little fur patch dangling. Yeah, there were a few times where I went, is that troll dong? Is that
Yep.
going to come into something? Does that get hard as rock too?
Well, I brought it up because one of the first full reveals of his entire body is, like, in fog. So, like, he's just there, big as shit. And they're just like, wow. I was like, what is that?
Yeah, like I definitely saw it as a tail at first, and then a few shots later, it made me question it. Honestly, so that was a tail. It wasn't just a big old troll dong.
I mean, I don't know if I could add or subtract points if, like, there was a plot point to where, like, he's just dragging across Oslo and they just have to stop him.
It's smashing through the roofs of houses.
No, you just get like one of those scenes
Oh.
like at the end of Austin Powers. Look at that huge
Yes.
Johnson.
Yes, because there is that bit where totally stolen from Godzilla '98, where like he smashes through a house and they have to come investigate the site and everything. You know, got the big footprints and there's like, oh yeah, look at the worms. I'm a scientist. And it's just like a house with a big old bite taken out of it. I was like to the missus, hey hon, look, his dick did that.
Look at these huge footprints. Well, you know what they say about big feet.
Yeah, absolutely. And you got like Stifler over there just being like, huh. I don't see that every day. And it just cuts because it's just like awkward and there's no way around it.
Yeah, he can't act for shit. He's like a Swiss Chris Kyle standing around.
As far as I can tell, the only military man in this, by the way, who actually looks like a military man. I actually took notes when we first saw like the big military inner workings, and I was like, these people don't even look like Channing Tatum or anything. They're not just jarheads. You got this one girl, just cute little blonde girl coming up with lemonade. Like that's military in Norway. They do things different.
Making fucking Star Trek live long and prosper hands.
Yeah.
Why not?
Did you guys enjoy the tourism ad as the troll stomped through the local area, leaving obvious evidence that no one wants to accept? They're in a helicopter, mind you, following footprints, literal footprints. And again, they stole the ripples from Jurassic Park, like in this guy's coffee cup.
Yes.
I would have loved to be in the theater for that level of bass, though. I remember that shit was legit back in the day for Jurassic Park.
You know what? I would totally watch this in theaters if there were ever a screening. Because the sound design was actually pretty good. It was quite good, actually. Especially like later on in the last half hour, 40 minutes or whatever, when there's that whole chase scene. I was into that.
Now, we were discussing some of the characters. There's not a lot of main characters. We got like Swiss Chris Kyle, as you called her earlier, Laura Dern, but you had like a funny twist to it.
Oh, Norwegian Dern.
Yes.
Yeah, I like
and
that
then there's Crazy Papa, and those are your main characters. And let me tell you what, if there's one detractor for me in this film, it's nothing to do with the acting. It's nothing to do with the bad dub. It's nothing to do with the fact that translation loses some shit. It's the wardrobe department. Some of these people look fucking ridiculous. They just don't look right. Like when you look at them, as Chandler was bringing up, they don't look like Channing Tatum or anything like that. But they also don't look like they're uniform in any way, shape, or form.
Maybe they just do things a little bit different in Norwegia.
I mean, I think it might just come down to just sticking whomever in these uniforms. Like, I totally get this is a budgeted film, but like, these just people. Like, uniforms aren't going to look good on these guys.
No, and they don't. Like, it looks like some guy wearing his dad's suit to a wedding. You go, oh, well, couldn't have got that tailored, huh?
Oh, here comes Sergeant Shoulders. There he goes.
Yeah, the other people, just assorted people that you'll see throughout and we'll talk about through this movie. There's the nerdy guy who's evidently the advisor to the Prime Minister, the Prime Minister herself who is a clueless bitch, and then the nerdy blonde girl that carries lemonade. I don't remember her name, but she comes up from time to time.
Yeah, that's it. And I think out of all those people, I think the worst one, if I could give a hard critique, the worst one was nerdy guy who hung out with Norwegian Dern. Nearly every conversation he has with our main character is just awkward. Like, I didn't understand, because, like, she would bring up a point, and he'd be like, yeah? Well, I'm going to talk about something else.
I think he's just an awkward person. I think he's supposed to be that way. Like, when they're up in the helicopter just having a conversation, and it's like, what about your mom?
He's the equivalent to the Middle Eastern guy from Dante's Peak that's in everything as the nerdy guy.
Oh, maybe. But, like, he was, he could emote proper. Like, she was straight up talking about some heavy shit, but, like, how her mother passed away when she was young. And he'd just be like, yeah, that's nice.
It was just like,
he's got bigger fish to fry.
That blonde girl down there with the lemonade.
But anyways, they need help with this fucking hyper nature situation. And who are you going to call? Trollbusters.
I do have one more thing to say about him before we go back to it. This guy did give me like the first and maybe only actual laugh of the whole movie. When they're in like the war room talking with the Prime Minister, and the Prime Minister just doesn't want to listen or whatever, and he's like, Well, I hope you know that this means I'm giving my resignation. And he lays down his
Oh, yeah.
ID pass down there on the table, slams it down, and tries to walk away. Then he realizes he needs that to actually exit the room, so he goes back to get it. That's a chuckle from me.
That was pretty solid though, but I feel like if he was more cleverly written, like through the whole movie, I think he would have been absolutely solid, just along with everybody else.
Yeah. But now we go to visit troll expert Papa, who lives in a small shack in the middle of nowhere, and he doesn't like to wear pants. Why, you ask?
Okay.
Trolls smell two things. One, Christians. Two, virginity. And that dude likes to keep fucking stink on him. He goes down every Tuesday, bangs Mary Jane Rottencrotch, doesn't bathe because the troll ain't getting his ass.
Rick Rubin has been through a lot of things.
I mean, like he produces a lot of music, but like he couldn't produce a pair of pants, and that was the gag that got me. Because like the movie doesn't even show any attention to his lower half. Like, you know, why would you? But in hindsight, he was kind of like cleverly blocked by like just stuff. And it's a little bit of a heavy situation. Like, you know, his estranged daughter comes up, needs help. This is their like last kind of hurrah kind of thing, and they're just like, "But Dad, you gotta put on some fucking pants." And like hard cut to him in his like janky underwear, scraggly legs, just like. Meh.
So my question with this is, from the very start, from the first time she has any indication that, like, this could be a troll, she runs off to Dad and is like, "Hey, we need your troll expertise." And then she just suddenly doesn't believe anything that he says.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's a trope. It's a hard trope because, you know, like the main character has to be reluctant, especially with a family member who's had some hard times or whatever. Sure.
Dad, I know you're crazy and you only ever studied trolls. I have commissioned the government to pay me to come out here to speak to you about trolls. So it's a troll? No.
Just for levity's sake, maybe they could have doubled down. You know, like they get the trollologist, they bring him back to HQ, and instead of like giving this like point by point thing that he actually does, he just has like a couple action figures he's playing on the table, and he's just like, the troll comes out.
And they're like the trolls from like the 90s with like the colored hair and like the jewels on their belly button. It's just those.
I mean, that's all he could conjure on his like weekly fucking.
Oh my god. So he's got the troll on the table. He's like, "So you gotta watch out for the troll because he's mean." And they're like, that doesn't look mean because it's the treasure troll. And he's like, "Oh, 1 second." Reaches over and grabs a Sharpie and just doodles on the angry eyebrows. And they're like, "Oh, yeah, that's a dangerous troll."
No, it's not like an oh yeah moment. Everybody's just like.
I think we've got a stew cooking here.
See, that's the movie we expected, though.
Yes. And what we got was a military dude that can smell hyper nature, and that's all you need.
And I really want to know what that smells like, though.
I don't.
I got to take a trip to Norwegia.
I don't know. It's just I feel like it's very musky.
Now, at the reveal of this troll, we mentioned it earlier, but now this is the for real, the moment that we get to see this. And to me, they do an amazing job misleading you. So they track this troll and they're like, "Oh, we got nothing on sensors. We can't find it. Where is it?" So they land a helicopter they're looking for. And there's this big lump of rock and stuff. And you immediately go, "That's the troll." And it's fairly large.
Behind you.
Yeah, you're the whole time you're like, "That's the fucking troll. That's it." And then they get you because it's not that chunk, but the gigantic fucking chunk behind it that is in fact the troll. And the way they blend the stone into the tail and the muscle into the mossy eyebrows, I went, "Yo, that looks fucking great."
I agree with you. It's extremely solid, and the whole subversion of expectations worked just fine. I was just like, you know what? You got me. But I did kind of get a little, not upset, but I was just kind of like a little bit of an eye roll because they're tracking this thing. Big as shit. It leaves footprints, of course, and they just stop, and then they're just like, "Huh, where is he?" And it's just like, well, you know.
I wonder where he is. He's under us.
It's the same way you play hide and seek with a baby. You just cover your own eyes. Where'd he go?
Yes. And the only reason he got up is because she was like, "Dad, I'm sick of your shit. I swear to God." And he was like, "Y'all talking about Christian God?"
Yeah, we do find out that the whole reason these trolls are pissed, this troll, there's only one so far, this troll is pissed off is because of the Christianity that was brought to Norway and snuffed out all of like the folk beliefs.
Yeah.
I don't know. Sounds like some reason that the black metal guys would be pissed off, I guess.
Well, we don't find out till much later, but the thing is, up until this point, they've been kind of like actively hunting him with like armed vehicles and stuff. And to be honest, I was thinking like this thing hasn't done shit to anybody yet. Like, why are they so gung ho so quickly?
Yeah, they immediately have tanks blasting this thing. And I went, why are y'all shooting it? It's done nothing. Again, plot-wise, we'll jump ahead just for a moment. We find out that this troll only wants to go home. He's the last of his kind. He's not attacking cities. We've honestly seen him kill maybe 2 people because they were shooting at him with literal fucking tanks.
Yeah, and that one dude was just in the way.
Yes, and that was a complete accident, and he showed remorse for it.
He did.
And he just wants to go home. That's it. He's walking home, and these people are like, dude, we gotta fucking nuke him.
Well, we got these special missiles we haven't told you about because they haven't exactly been approved yet, but we can shoot those at them.
We haven't told you because we haven't paid for the stock footage yet, but we'll get there.
Yes. I did like that they never mentioned what type of bomb it is, as not to, I don't know, maybe bring up technology to date themselves or give away country secrets.
That's fine.
They never bring it up, which is perfectly fine because it honestly doesn't matter. But
No.
Did you guys notice whenever the old guy got killed, his death faces? I was fucking dying. Like, you want to talk about laughing in this movie? I lost it. Just him being like, as he was dying.
Oh, poor Rick Rubin. His entire discography is just flashing before his eyes.
Could you imagine that? That's how you go out, just like shit caked underpants, and this big old thing's like, it's mountain time.
It's mountain time.
And speaking of mountain time, what I got here today is from New Belgium Brewing Company out of, I don't know where this one's brewed at. Probably like Denver. I don't know. They got a couple of breweries. This is Mountain Time. It's a premium lager, 4.4% alcohol by volume. This is light, a little bit bready, a little bit dry, not at all hoppy. It's honestly not very flavorful at all. This is very comparable to like a mass market light lager. It's okay. Much like this movie, it's okay.
Well, speaking of this movie... Oh, wait.
Speaking of this movie, let's talk about this movie some more.
Well, Norwegian Dern's dad, he gets smushed. To be honest, I don't think he deserved it, but like the movie needs a body count, I guess, for those people who are like half watching. And like he buggers off, and I let a lot of stuff slide in this movie because I think it's well done for what it is. But there's just like massive gap in like where the fuck this troll is between then and when he shows up in Oslo.
Is Oslo the Swiss Camden Park?
Swiss?
You know we're in Norway, right? Not Switzerland?
Yeah, but I like saying Swiss better.
All right. One thing I wanted to talk about when you were talking about sort of like the subversion of expectations. Oh, it's the little mountain. No, it's the big mountain. When they actually have that little theme park and you see the kids and everything, you got the one kid just staring up at this big troll statue when they don't know where the troll is, and you think,
oh yeah,
oh, is that troll just pretending to be a statue? No, it's fucking 150 foot taller than that statue.
Dude, okay. That was a good scene because the whole time she's staring at it and the ground shaking and shit like you described, I went, oh my god, this dude's just been chilling there. He's about to get up, and it's going to be kind of like Killer Clown. He's just going to start marching through this place fucking shit up. But he doesn't.
It's kind of the same thing as like if they actually got into town and he's actually one of those like living statues. Like, oh, there he is. He almost got me. No, it's much worse.
Hiding in plain sight.
I mean, realistically, this thing doesn't want to kill. He's not a killer. That's not what he does. Unless you're a Christian. He does not like Christians.
Get those little T's away from me.
Dude, yeah, he's so fucking mad because they start ringing bells at him. He's like, hey, leave me alone. I'm just walking here.
Hey!
I'm just trolling here.
Oh, what? It's got to be from New York? Hey, that's racist.
You making fun of my talk? I'm walking here. Step on your house.
Well, even though the troll is like making some time, going some places, the movie kind of taps the brakes. We got to catch up with the government. And the prime minister is just like, man, I am completely worthless, fellas. What do I got to do today? And the fucking business military man's like, we gotta kill him dead until he dies from it. And then he starts rolling out these plans. It's like, yeah, we got a big old plane, got a big old missile. I'm not gonna tell you the details, but I got it for a good price.
They even go so far as to have the Prime Minister explain to you, hey guys, just in case you were wondering, we knew it was a troll all along. The Troll Palace is actually under the minister's house. Surprise, surprise.
Yeah, that was like a hard moment where the movie was just like, I'm sorry, guys, we have to movie. Because there was such a weird scene where Norwegian Dern gets taken into the tunnels and stuff, and that guy's just like, listen, we knew about this all along, and we fucked over your dad. And I'm going to say, real honestly right now, my bad.
Yeah, it's kind of comparable to the scene in like Independence Day when they take him under like Area 51, and the president's like, "Wow, I didn't even know this was here."
I don't know about that. Where's Randy Quaid? He's got to fly right into that trolliness.
Nope, they're not using Randy Quaid. They're going to use Stifler's mom, and she's going to seduce it for that big old troll doll.
Ooh.
That's in Troll 2.
Okay, so there is a scene coming up, though, that had a great vibe. I thought was super fucking cool. And it was like, whenever the troll is supposed to be rampaging, even though it's literally never rampaging, it's just walking.
No.
They used the air raid sirens, and it shows like the entire city dead quiet, nobody on the streets, nothing like that, to show that it's been evacuated because they're going to bomb it for Pepsi and Toblerone.
I thought it was like a quiet, like, citywide curfew. Like, they didn't want to panic anybody, and they didn't like say like, "Hey, you should evacuate." They're like, "You just go home. Just, go have some tea or something."
Yeah, they start to show like the little address that they're having like over the nationwide thing, but they don't ever actually get to the point and say like, "Hey, you guys should probably evacuate Oslo." They're just like, "Well, we've got this thing going on, so like." Decisions. We're not going to tell you what to do, but
get out of there so Skywalker can bullseye this womp rat.
Oh, 100%. Absolutely. And all at the same time, you have like Norwegian Dern and that nerd guy who I just don't like. They devise this plan. So like they see how all these trolls have been massacred back in the day, and that's the reason why he just wants to go home. And they come to the conclusion like, he's not a bad guy. He's a sad guy. Let's just go lure him away from the city, and that'll be that. Maybe science will be done. We can learn more about him. All's good in Oslo. Their big plan, right, was to just put... Man, I can't. To put one of its supposedly baby skulls in the back of an S10 truck and just barrel down the highway with it to get its attention.
This is me shrugging. Actively shrugging.
They created a morbid parade float. Just like screeching down the road, and he's like, family, and it just turns into the Fast and Trollius.
Okay, so so the idea is like, in troll folklore, family, nothing was more important than family. Nice. And
he's a little troll.
And we find out that her father was right. Daylight is what kills them. Or whatever. But, he was out in daylight before, so what it's got to be direct sunlight, UV light. Oh, and he's just like, well, damn it, Jackie, I can't control the sun.
Dude, I totally like that, because my idea was just like, we got to wrap this movie by 6, pronto,
Yeah, so Stifler's just like, and this is one of the things where the dub really, man... It's either a bad dub or bad acting or both. But he's on the phone. This is Army Stifler here. He's like, "What? Well, how am I supposed to find that much you? Oh, I've got an idea." And it's just so.
On the whole Fast and Furious parallel, he was just like, "Daddy's got to go to work," and just has a solution.
And the solution is not a good one. Like, they trick the troll and start to burn it alive for wanting to go home and lay with its ancestral gravesite. They're burning it alive, and Norwegian Dern is like, "Oh man, maybe this is wrong," and they turn off the lights, and then what fucking happens? The sun is just automatically noon o'clock.
Yeah, it's almost like, they just flip the switch. Oh, it's daytime now, 6:30, guys.
That's how it works, right? North of the circle. No, that's not how it works up there either. No. All right.
As ridiculous as that is, can we just talk about the troll chase at the end? I think
Sure.
it lands absolutely. The effects, both computer, miniature, and practical, all hit, and I was impressed.
If my final takeaway was anything, it's that they shot this B movie like a Marvel film, and it made it work even better.
I just think it was like the perfect use of what they had. They're like, listen, if we're going to show this thing off, we're going to still have to find a way to make it look good. What are we going to do? Well, this is going to take place at night. It's going to be hidden as much as possible, even when it's full frame. We're going to put it behind something constantly, and we're always going to have it in the background. I just thought that was great. It's such a simple idea. It's like what you would do in a much cheaper movie, and they just pulled it off. Like that little somber scene where he looked at his own reflection. He's like, do they hate me because I'm ugly or something like that? I was like, you know what? That kind of works. All right.
And then, like, he's holding the child skull, the little baby skull in his hand right then, and he sees his own reflection, and he just drops it. Then he's like, "Oh, I dropped it," and starts crying like a little bit.
Right after that, I had to watch that little bit a couple times because ooh, it was so good. I don't know. There's like a little nugget of genius in this movie because like once he starts running down that truck, his stride is just like really satisfying. He's smashing stuff, and when he tears down that bridge with another tracking shot, I was just like, man, this is filmmaking, and it shouldn't belong in this movie, but it works.
I'm with you. I had a blast with that last little bit of the scene.
Like, I know I'm raving over it, I'm gushing over it a little bit too much, but I think it succeeds because this total fictional character, this total CGI thing, feels like it has weight. And that's super fucking tough to do.
They do a really good job with what they're trying to express. Like you said, with the hiding of the creature for most parts. It's the way that we used to make movies, where the monster would be hidden. That way he seemed better. And it definitely lets them stretch their budget further, because he's not in the front all the time, so the detail doesn't have to be 120%. You've heard me complain about this with the bigger budget films like Jurassic World and things like that, to where the CG is so constant that you do notice a lot of the errors made. This movie accomplishes hiding those.
I think the biggest detractor for me isn't any of that stuff. Like, as far as how it's made, you know, the CGI, the usefulness, how it's shot and all of that's fine for the most part. The biggest detractor for me is how shoehorned every little quote or every little gimmick, every little reference is. They've got all of these Star Trek references. They want you to notice these things. You know, there's references to the Billy Goat's Gruff. There's, like, Ramones song references. There's references to everything. They want everybody to find something to be like, hey, they're talking about that thing. Or referencing Jurassic Park or King Kong or Godzilla and it's all very direct and forced. And that just rubbed me the wrong way. I don't know.
No, but I totally get that. Maybe because my guard was lowered really early in this movie, just because I kind of saw something in there. The way this movie wears its influences on its sleeves didn't bother me that much.
I'll tell you what did bother me. Melting this goddamn troll into a big old white dog turd.
Okay, so the ending, it is like a really long, drawn-out fart. It just peters out, and it's just like, that's all the gas we have, guys. Cut the credits, please.
One more qualm that I had with this is just the idea that, all right, you've got the main character who is supposed to be the good guy. She's, like, actively going against the military to try and just kill this troll a different way. That's what we're doing? They want to use bombs. You want to use UV light? Like, what's the fucking difference?
I think the movie... Now, mind you, the ending is kind of whatever, because the movie just, like, hard stops at 90 minutes. I think the movie is trying to convey that she didn't want to blow it up, but given the circumstance, and it's, like, suddenly daylight now, this is the best circumstance, like, I guess, pass away peacefully, and just so they can just throw their hands up, like, well, I guess that's today.
Like, oh, it's dead, but we didn't actively do it, so his blood is not on our hands.
Yeah, it's just street cred. So the Psycho's like, we didn't do it.
It was beauty that killed the beast. They 30 days a night his ass.
Absolutely, that's exactly what it is.
And she's like, oh my god, this is wrong. The sun blasts him anyways, and then good old JR comes out and he's like, Christians win! Christians win! Troll 2! God.
I did like throw my hands up when they were just like, huh, well, I guess he's just like a bunch of rocks now.
You want to name it after one of us? Yeah, let's do that.
Not only does it wrap up in a hurry, it's super corny too. Like, even after all that shit we mentioned, Nerd Guy's just like, huh, do you think there's other ones out there? Look straight into the camera. Credits.
Yeah.
And like, the credits don't even wait till like a mid-roll or a post-credit scene. It's like, they show like two people's name, and they're like, bam, 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 Troll 2.
Yeah, we got to show this before they get out of the theater. They're not seeing it in theaters. Well, before they turn the Netflix off.
Yeah, 100%.
Got to leave them hanging for something.
Overall, this movie has a real fun vibe to it. I never wasn't talking about something going on in this film. There's plenty, like you mentioned earlier, Chandler, plenty of references, plenty of like little things for you to pick out. Overall, I give it a solid B, and congratulations. If this is the formula they want to use to make B movies now, I'm on board.
Now, from this movie, I didn't expect perfection or anything, but what I got was just a very humble movie. It wears its influences on its sleeves and has a bunch of tropes in it that otherwise would kind of turn me off, but I think because it doesn't take itself too seriously, it doesn't go out of its way to shit on like the source material or like mythology. It doesn't go out of its way to punish the viewer. It doesn't go out of its way to do something that stretches a little too far and it kind of breaks the immersion. I just think this is kind of the perfect B movie in the traditional sense. Good for them.
Yeah, for me, this was fine. You can definitely tell that it was influenced by a lot of those big, especially the big monster movies of the 90s, I feel like. The 90s and 2000s, the Godzillas and the Kongs, but like the not so great ones. And if you like those movies, this one is right up your alley. I just kind of think those movies are okay, and they have a much bigger budget than this one. That does give this one a little bit more leeway to be goofy, and they take all that leeway that they can. And I do like that they sort of use the sort of Norwegian folklore of trolls as a skin over all of that. But overall, like, it was entertaining, but I probably won't ever watch it again, you know?
Well, there you have it. That was the Netflix original Troll from 2022. If you have any strong feelings about the show or the movie, leave it in the comment section below.
Make sure to hit the like and subscribe buttons. Be sure to bash that bell down there so the troll will hate it and you won't miss what we've got brewing up next.
Get out there and follow us on social media. That way you can find the found footage of giant trolls busting out of fucking mountains for no good reason. You'll find those on YouTube, Twitter, all the usual places that social media can be at, including YouTube. So give us a listen. Sometimes we're kind of funny. And if you don't, maybe a giant troll will come and like drag its dong through the roof of your house.
They see him trolling. They hating.
Ha!